So hello everybody and welcome to another Tea Break Talk with Cerebra. My name's Elaine and I work in the Charities Communications Department, and really over the last few months I've just been catching up with lots of people from across the charity just to get in touch and to find out a little bit more about what they're working on at the moment. And one of our flagship services really at Cerebra is our Legal Entitlements and Problem Solving Project, or LEaP for short, which we run with the School of Law at the University of Leeds. And I'm really thrilled today, I've not met her before, but I'm really thrilled today to be joined by Dr. Ana Aiello from the School of Law at Leeds. Hello, Ana.
Good morning, Elaine. Good morning, everybody.
Yeah, how's the weather in Leeds at the minute?
It's not too bad. It's like a great day. It's not raining right now, and it's beautiful. It's all like covered in yellow leaves.
Oh, lovely.
I like the autumn very much, so yes, it's very nice. Yes.
Lovely. So you're working at the School of Law as a research assistant on the project, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. I work closely to Professor Luke Clements. So he's a chair of law and social justice. And yes, I work alongside him on the LEaP project.
Great. So could you just, for people who don't know, who haven't come across our LEaP project before, could you just tell us a little bit more about it?
Yes. This is a project that is focused on supporting families of disabled children to access to their rights. So we believe that instead of providing individual advice to families, we don't believe that's bad, but we believe that we can work more on trying to identify the common problems that these families find for accessing to their rights, and then doing research and then to think creatively about solutions for those problems. So we do this by working with Cerebra and Cerebra's in-house research team on a range of projects. Mm-hmm. And also every year with the University of Leeds, we host a research program pro bono for students. So we host every year between 50 or 60 students, and we train them about research skills, and they support us also with an aspect of our research. So through Cerebra, we get to know some of the fundamental and common problems families are finding for accessing to the rights, and we will choose, for example, a topic for research, and then we will conduct that research. We will then work with the students. They will support us with an aspect of the research, and then we will usually write a research report, and then after release we will work on dissemination and impact.
Great. So the research is very much driven by what families are saying are the problems in their experiences. It's the problems that they're encountering every day.
That's totally right. And in fact, that is one of our main motives for working on this project, that the real experts about their lives are disabled people and their families. So the topics are coming from them, and we work with them rather than about them. And we support them through our legal expertise for basically breaking barriers which are preventing them from accessing to their rights.
So what are the sorts of rights and services we're talking about, Ana?
We have a range of projects, but the most current ones are focused on the access to social care assessments. Okay. So the law is very clear. The law says that all children in need are entitled to a social care assessment, and all disabled people, disabled children, should be considered to be children in need. However, we found that for many families with children with autism, it's not very easy to access to this assessment because, and this is last year's research project, we work in partnership with the BBC and the Disability Law Services, we found through our research that at least 41 English local authorities have policies, documents, which establish what we call autism plus requirements. Like, for example, for a disabled child with autism, it's not enough to be a disabled child for accessing to the assessment. In some authorities, the family has to demonstrate that their child has, for example, an additional learning disability or a diagnosis. So these requirements are unlawful. They are discriminatory. The law doesn't establish them. They are contrary to the Children Act 1989 and to the Disability Equality Act 2010. They are plainly unlawful. So we published a research report in last August, and we had a great coverage. And as I said before, we are working with the BBC and the Disability Law Service, and now we are working on dissemination and impact. So, for example, we are writing to each of those 41 offending councils. So hopefully, after our research, they will feel encouraged to change those unlawful policies, and then the final result, hopefully, will be that these families, these disabled children, will be able to have an assessment. So that would be an example of the kind of project that we have been developing. So this year, we decided to continue with that topic.
Okay.
So we are working on the second phase of this research. Still, we are working in partnership with the Disability Law Service and the BBC. And we are going to do research about the experiences that families of disabled children, but in this year's case, not just disabled children with autism, all disabled children. So their experiences and their families' experiences for accessing and having an assessment. And for this, we ran a survey. That survey was live up until August. We got a very, 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 very good turnout of replies. And also, we are going to perform research on the websites of local authorities to find out which protocols they are using for performing the assessments. And for this, we will count with the help of a brilliant group of 50 students. We just started our training sessions with them last week. I think what I would like to stress is that this year's concern for us is that, and once again, this comes through the brilliant experience of our families, what we are concerned about that the assessment process for families is not very fair. We heard that for families, many families, this process feels like a humiliating process, that sometimes the person from the local authority who is performing the assessment is not trained on the needs of disabled children, that instead of a focus on support, the focus is more on child protection issues. We are a bit concerned that maybe there are a set of blanket policies which are used for every type of scenario. However, the scenario of a family with a disabled child looking for support is very different than the scenario where, for example, a local authority can have a genuine concern that the child is being neglected. So we would like, through our research, to clarify those protocols, to see how is that assessments are being performed, and hopefully we will be able at the end of the year, well, next year, to have a set of recommendations for improving this reality.
Okay, and as you say, that's not just improving things for one individual family. Then, is it? It's families across the United Kingdom. It's a common problem, so it's looking at an overall solution.
Yes, I think that point is really important. After all these years with our LEaP project, undoubtedly we have improved things for many individual families. And we are extremely grateful to Cerebra for funding us all of these years, for believing in us. But a different thing is to change the system, is to change, for example, how people think about an issue, how people act about an issue. Like, for example, one thing is to change a law, to change a policy. But a very different thing is that change touches the lives of people. So there is always a great deal of work, maybe the most important one, to do about implementation. So that's why we believe in the media, we believe in lobbying, we believe in training, and of course we believe in research. However, the research perhaps, or it is the first step, because if you don't work on implementation, then you will end up with a research report which may have been beautifully written. However, if nobody is going to do anything about it, the lives of people are not going to change. And that's why personally I feel so passionate about the LEaP project, and always inspired also by Professor Luke Clement, because it is all about people. It is all about local research. It is all about empowering people to access to the rights. Once again, to break down the barriers that they find for accessing to the rights. And I feel very lucky to have this job. And also the School of Law at the University of Leeds is amazing in terms of the quality of the research, but also the quality of all the people who work there. So I feel very, very happy, with my job.
And as you said, it's a fantastic opportunity for the students as well, isn't it, to get involved in something so breaking and, you know, really relevant.
Well, that is a very powerful point too. We are clear when we train our students that they need to be trained about the essential skills for performing our research, and that is what we look for, and that is what we usually achieve. However, another very important part of our job with our students is to inspire them, to radicalize them, to think that there are many, many ways of working with the law, and to look at the law as a powerful tool in the field of social justice. And they feel the feedback that we get every year is really positive, really encouraging. Even some students have thought about changing career path, maybe from a focus more on commercial law, thinking about working more on social justice. Once again, it's not that we are against commercial law, but we are very passionate about social justice and human rights, and we like that the students can put themselves in the shoes of real people. That's why, for example, for this year's program, we are including a key group of speakers, like, for example, Hayley Brewer from the BBC, staff from Cerebra, moms of disabled children, some barristers who take these legal cases to court. So hopefully the students will feel inspired by this speaker's experience and background, because the students are the next generation, they are the future. So this is an aspect of my job that I really like too. They are also fresh, they come with fresh ideas, amazing ideas, sometimes even, you know, they are creative. Yes, they are the future. Yeah.
Oh, and I can tell you have a great passion for your job and what. And before we pressed record this morning, you were telling me that you've got a very personal reason behind that passion and that commitment to making a difference.
Yes, I have an only sister. Her name is Paola, and my sister has a learning disability. She's an amazing woman. She's 42 years old, and she lives with my parents in Argentina. And because I am her sister, I am the member of a family with a disabled child. Since I'm very young, I have been supporting my parents through caring for my sister. So for me, personal care is not something that I don't know about. I did that many times. But also now, because I live abroad and unfortunately I cannot see her face to face every day, but I have been supporting my family through accessing to support for my sister, particularly because I am her only sister. And when my parents are not able to care for her anymore, she will be my responsibility. So my sister has inspired me to empathize with disabled people, to know about them, and to want to know about their rights and about them, how to fight for their rights. And that's why I pursue a law degree, and I finished that in Argentina. I worked for many years for the courts there. But then I moved to Spain, and there I focused my work on human rights, and particularly on disabled people's human rights. So I have been working for the past 15 years for NGOs and universities on campaigning and on research. And I am a firm believer of, as I said at the beginning of this talk, working with people and not about people. The real experts about their lives are disabled people and their families. And I really believe in inclusion, in accessibility, and that includes accessible information. And that's why that's my journey. Yeah, and I feel very proud of my sister, and I want to believe that although I cannot be with her every day, at least through my work with Cerebra and the University of Leeds, I am using that experience in a positive way. And thanks to that experience, I can contribute to improve the lives of disabled children and their families.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that, Anna. Thank you. And I've really enjoyed chatting with you this morning. And if it's okay with you, I'd like to come back again at some point and just talk a little bit more about how you're getting on with this year's piece of research, and just to check in with you really and see how it's all going and what the outcomes are. Because, as I say, this is groundbreaking and it's so innovative, and it's going to make change on so many different levels. So thank you again so much for talking with me. And I hope you get to visit Argentina again soon, and your lovely family over there.
Thank you, Elaine. Thank you to everybody for listening to our work, and thank you very much.
Thank you. And if anybody wants to read a little bit more about the work that we're doing at the School of Law at the University of Leeds, there is information on the Cerebra website, and a link as well to Professor Luke Clements' website as well. So please just log into cerebra.org.uk. I'll catch up with you soon. Thank you again, Anna, for your time, and it's been a real pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Elaine. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.